Greetings and salutations, or something like that. Um, so we got Jamie's Hack Shack here. Greetings from Leavenworth, Kansas. I hope you're just visiting the city or the location and not the facility that's there. Um, well, you're driving back from Colorado Springs, so you must be in your own. What do you say that? How do you say that? Anyway, you're responsible for yourself, not somebody else being responsible for you. Whatever. Anyway, that's the only thing I know about Leavenworth. Um, so, wanted to talk about a few things this morning. I don't have any hypercardy stuff to go over, um, and really nothing specific. I just wanted to talk about, motivation. Yes, so far, good. On your own recognizance. I can't speak this morning, or any morning really. Anyway, so I wanted to. I kind of noticed, although it's been in the back of my mind, that I haven't been live streaming very much. Um, what triggered that was getting the game out for VCF Midwest last September. But that was last September. Um, and habits, and I'm going to make this fairly short today because Big Bad Biologist has got a noon stream and we don't want to miss that. Oh, hi, Trina. And Dave. Yes, more coffee, Eric. Yeah, I'm still drinking my first mug. So I had to get up for biological reasons twice last night for about 2 hours, and I won't go into details other than say my medication sometimes causes issues. So I'm not operating at 100%, and my 100% is not all that great to begin with. So I apologize. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about. So I started thinking more deeply recently about why I'm not live streaming. And actually, I've kind of lost my mojo a little bit on that. Um, the motivation has been fleeting, and I've made a couple of abortive attempts to get back into a regular schedule, and it's just not happening for me right now. So the reasons are numerous. One of the things is that, my wife had some medical issues this last year that's taken a lot of time. And so I've been, rightly so, been, focused on her care. And that's a good thing. She's recovering great from the surgery she had. Everything is fine. So it's nothing like that. It's just, day to day, there are issues. And so that's a good logical reason, right? What else? Uh, I've been working on some various other things besides HyperCard recently, and I really haven't been very organized on it. So it's a little disjointed. Some of it involves just a lot of thinking, and nobody wants to watch me think, um, even if I think out loud. So there's that. Um, just to list a few things, show them off. So one of the ideas that I've been working on is this, which is I call the Mac-Doodler. Um, and it's an old toy that was patented in the 60s. Patents no longer held. The trademark for it, which was FrodoJedi, is no longer defended. It's been abandoned. Anyway, the long and short of it is these are kind of like similar to a spirograph, but instead of just sticking a pen in and moving it around, you dial in particular numbers and then draw that line, and then spin it, draw another line. You keep doing that until you hit all the lines, and what you end up with is kind of a secret picture. And I designed one and 3D printed it to give us our one of our favorite Macintoshes, Mackie. I gave this to Kate, so she's got the printer file for that, so she can print her own. So that, I'm sorry, you could ask for it, but I'm not going to give it out. This is Kate's intellectual property as far as I'm concerned, so I won't do that. But I am planning on doing some others. So there'll be the standard Mac icon, the smiley Mac, the sad Mac. Probably some of the icons. Those are pretty easy to do. So it'll be some of Susan Kerr's stuff for the original Macs. And then I'll probably sell them at VCF or something like that. Anyway, that's the idea. And to pay tribute to Susan Kerr, I'm going to take that photograph of her reclining at her desk and do a line drawing of it and make a Mac-Doodler of her. So it's not really something you can live stream developing. I'll probably do a tutorial string on it, but if you go out there and look, you'll find them. So people have done it. I use GIMP. I'm not using any of the Adobe suite because, dang, that's expensive. Okay, so that's one thing I've been working on. Susan's poster lives on my fridge, as it should, Trina. Yeah, you know, she's a remarkable person. I mean, a lot of the people on the Mac team were remarkable people, but what was she, like employee number 13 or something? Or 6, or I forget, but you know, she's definitely in that top, 20 somewhere. Anyway, I think she's awesome. I've seen a few of her talks she did for the computer museum thing that's out in out west. Yeah, she sounds like a really interesting person. Anyway, so there's something else. You may have heard of, is it Smack-A-Mac? It's a little stuffed Macintosh-like, so it doesn't run into trademarks or anything. Little plushie that you can get. It's actually a pretty simple design. You're basically following the same pattern as making an ottoman. Or not an ottoman. What do they call it? I forget the name. Anyway, it's, those cube things you can rest your feet on like an ottoman. They make them for babies' toys too, for little cubes, that kind of thing. So it's a really simple pattern. I've got the same vendor that did the fabric for my maps for my game. So you can do print on demand for those things. So I'm going to do panels based on something similar to Slap-A-Mac. Well, I'm going to call it Hug-A-Mac because we should all hug our Macs. We love our Macs. If you smack it around because you're frustrated, well, that's up to you. But I'm going to call it Hug-A-Mac. Limited runs of them. I'm not going to get into the whole nightmare of not being able to, satisfy supply. So it'll be something that if I have them available, they'll go up for sale and you can order one. If there isn't any stock, you can't order it. And I'll probably have some at VCF Midwest. So that's something else I'm working on. Sorry, I got a whole list here. So we talked about the Mac-Doodler, Hug-A-Mac. Oh yeah, Pop a Flop. So it's like 11th iteration of it. I almost have a working, sorry, I've got too much stuff laying around. So let me get the latest prototype while I precariously balance a MacBook on my leg. Sorry, just a second. Hands really hurt this morning. Anyway, so this is Pop a Flop. And this is based on a product from the 80s where you could select a disc from a box. So instead of it just being a normal box, and I've done this hinged lid thing, that's the latest solution. But you turn this little dial here, and you can select your floppy. And you can run it either way, left-handed or right-handed. Still got some things to work out, like I had to adjust the width of this so that it could hold the lid. And in the process of doing that, it made the discs kind of sloppy. There's too much space, so I gotta work that out. So that'll be something that on my old Ender 3 takes 3 days to print. So I'm not going to be creating these for sale. I am talking to Joe at Joe's Computer Museum about doing a print-on-demand thing for him. So we'll figure out what that's going to take later. And they'll be available that way. What else? So I recently was on the local TV channel. It was not on the actual broadcast. They do the little snippets on their website for community news and stuff. But I'm one of the admins for Startup local area vintage computer club for the Lansing, Michigan area. So if you're in the Lansing, Michigan area and you want to join our little group, you can look up lavcc.org, I think. Got a little website. We held our first event. Hey, good morning. We held our first event the 14th, and for a first event in a makerspace, it actually went pretty well. Dang, it was cold though. They don't really heat maker spaces like that. They're old buildings usually, and this one was old. And it's all cement and cinder block, and so it was a little chilly. But we had about, I'd say nobody really kept track, and I haven't asked the facility yet what the, through the door count was that day. But we had about 40, maybe 50 people show up. We had 9 tables of people. The core 4 admins had tables. We also had Chris and, I forget his name, and I forget their last name. The brothers that do all the Amiga and 8-bit wares, they had a table there, which is nice. They frequent a lot of places in the Midwest. So it was a good turnout for a first event. We raffled off for free a Power Macintosh G3. I contributed a keyboard and a few other components for it, but mostly it was Sophia that put it together, and she did a great job. So she had to replace the fan in it and do some other work on it to get it functional. So and a young person won it, so that's even better, I think. There was somebody who had a table who wasn't originally part of the group that applied to have a table. They had a whole bunch of Intel era Macintosh things, but the young kid that's heavily into that stuff won it. So we made sure they left with a working system. And I threw in a boxed edition of my game in with it too, so they'd have that to mess around with. Let's see, what else do I have on my list? So that took some time and prep. And we plan on doing that quarterly, so I'm really looking forward to getting involved more with that. So there is a sequel to Adventure that I'm working on. It's a point-and-click adventure. I've mentioned this before. It's kind of like a Murder on the Orient Express style thing with an inspector, and and actually there was a heavily rotoscoped video game that was point and click. Um, Sorry, the name of the game escapes me. That was based on the same kind of concept. I didn't even know about it um, originally, and then when I was researching the game, I came across and I said, "Dang, somebody's already done this." I'm not going to do rotoscoping for the and do animation or anything, but there'll be uh, graphics. It'll be a hypercard stack, that kind of thing. The idea is that you have to solve a murder mystery. It could be the colonel in the lounge with a pipe wrench, I guess, or it's that kind of a thing. But there's side stories. There's false leads and things like that. So you actually have to collect evidence and then solve the mystery. And you could you could come up with a great score where you solve all the mysteries and you also figure out the motivation behind other people in there and why they didn't do it. Or you could, maybe you don't solve the mystery, but you figure out somebody that's committed a crime. So you got at least some points for it. Anyway, it's in the conceptual stage right now, so I haven't done any code yet. That'll be a few years of work because I am not going to kill myself like I did last time to get Adventure out by VCF Midwest. I'm not setting a date on this. Couple other, some hardware related stuff for Trina. So Retrotech or Die and I have been talking about for a year about doing a Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants kind of a thing where we pass around a computer and everybody makes contributions to it. And then, so we're not ready to announce it, but I'm telling you about it anyway. Anyway, I picked up a Tandy Color Computer 2. Just happened across one. No video output, so I'm still trying to solve that problem. And we're hoping, it's small enough that it's easy to ship. It doesn't have a screen, so you don't have to worry about that. But want people to contribute to its functioning. Add-ons. Maybe somebody could do the Tiny Comp mod or something like that to it. And then give it away. And it would be from the group as a group giveaway. So going to get that going. Related to that, I picked up some 232 ATSC4s from the local university. And those things are, well, let me grab one. Hang on a second. These little gems. So what are they? They're TV tuners. But they have HDMI out. So you've got composite and HDMI out and all that. You can control them remotely, but they also have a on the output, with the buttons on the front, you can control, what channel you're watching, that kind of thing. So the idea here was, I don't have an old TV with the antenna leads. So I was going to use this with the Tandy to get output. Oh, I haven't received it yet, Trina. So Trina did me a solid about almost 2 years ago. There was a TRS-80 model 102 computer, the brick with the keyboard attached, portable computer, that she got really inexpensively in Toronto, and but with shipping and everything, the nonsense going on, she just decided that, we decided to just hang on to it until there was an opportunity. Well, somebody from the Southeastern Michigan vintage computer group happens to travel to Toronto occasionally, and they offered to pick it up for me. It was going to be 6 months later, but they eventually did, and they still have it. So I will pick it up from the next Southeastern Michigan computer event, because we'll both be attending, so I'll be able to pick it up. So thank you, Trina, for getting that for me. Do I really need one? No. I'm supposed to be downsizing, but I have the TRS-80 Model 200 with the kind of laptop screen, and I had a 102, and I screwed up the motherboard trying to recap it, and gave it away to somebody else to try to fix. So anyway, so eventually I'll get that. So anyway, those ATSC 4s, and I have some plus 1s as well. I've got 6 of them in total. I've only tested one of them, so I don't know if they all work, but I got them for $8. You do have to have a 12 volt power supply to go with them. I think it's 1.5 amps. But anyway, so they were really cheap, and they're a good solution for, they'll scale. So whatever input they get, they'll scale to whatever you do. I just slapped a digital antenna on it, was able to pick up, I know this one works, I was able to pick up local stations. So yeah, so it could be useful for vintage stuff. If you're interested in one, let me know. I still have to test them, see if they work, but at $8 a pop, I couldn't really turn it down. So I have those. What else? Pop Flop, covered that. Hug a Mac-Doodler. Marchintosh. It's the middle of Marchintosh. Well, actually, we only have, what, a week left? Week and a half? 2 weeks? Other than having Global Talk active and doing a couple of minor things, I haven't done much for it, but I do have an image writer too with a black ribbon in it. So if you're on Global Talk and you want to print greetings, this is a recent one that I got from Wandel. Marcintosh 2026 Rockhampton, Australia. So this came from all the way from Australia. Thank you for that. What else we got going on? Oh yeah, so yeah, I'm working on stuff. I haven't been live streaming much. I do want to get back into it, but my head's just not in it right now. I mean, I had enough content to do like a half hour today because I've got a lot of pent up stuff I'm working on. And I'll probably do some, videos for the Hug-A-Mac and things like that, showing how to construct one. I mean, it's not rocket science. If you had, middle school sewing, you can do it. It's not really that difficult. So I'll do that eventually. The other thing that's kind of keeping me from doing stuff is more personal. And I won't go into the details because, everybody understands, everybody knows, everybody has an opinion. I mean, they're like, bungholes. Everybody's got one. Some opinions smell. That's all I'm going to say. But I'd say current events for the last few years have really started to wear on me. And every time I think about actually spending time doing a live stream, the energy's not there. And, I've made a conscious decision, and I slipped up once on it, not to go there. I mean, this stream is about vintage tech and, the things I like to work on and stuff like that. But you can't be unaffected. And that goes for, you could be on one extreme or the other. You could be a moderate in the middle. Do moderates still exist? I don't know. Um, but there's an ancient Chinese curse: "May you live in the most interesting of times." And yeah, you have to agree. We're living in one of the more interesting times. Um, so all I can say is this too shall pass. Um, I have personal opinions about how long it's going to take for that to happen. Um, and if it's affecting you, reach out to somebody and talk to them about it. Um, it could be someone who's like-minded. You don't have to um, fence with people. Not everybody has the energy for that. Um, you could support somebody else that's having trouble. Um, I I don't know. Um, you could be an activist. You could deliver groceries to somebody. I think Minneapolis showed us the way to be supportive. Um, or you could just know that you're not alone. I'm talking to myself here as much as I am you. So I do believe that for the most part, most people are just good people, and they're just trying to get along. And um, not everybody can do something. Sometimes all you can do is survive, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, but reach out. If you need somebody to just talk to, you can look me up. I'm on the socials and all that. Do I want to have a public debate with somebody? Not really. Um, but it affects all of us one way or another. And that goes for some guy in a flower shop in Tahiti. Do they have flower shops in Tahiti? I assume they do. Um, or you know, we got friends across the pond that are impacted directly by what happens here. Um, so anyway, that's really all I had to talk about today. I'm gonna do a quick look at the text or the chat here. So we have Dave from Dave's Vintage Hat. I'm reading your tag and it's throwing me off. Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, and of course he'll be live streaming tomorrow. Big Bad Biologist is only 15 minutes away, so make sure you catch his live stream. Trina, you were gonna stream today. Did that happen? Um, so I'm sorry I missed it. Like I said, I was up a couple hours in the middle of the night, so there was that. Jamie's Hack Shack, Trina. Everybody's being chatty. Hey, Big Bad Biologist. Um, who else? Oh, Ian. Ian, thank you so much for creating the things that you do. My ImageWriter 2 would not be available for Global Talk without your device, so thank you for that. Um, Sorry, I'm scrolling down. Okay. Oh, Starbuck. Hello. Isn't that an old Chinese curse? Yes. Yes, it is. So, I am going to start doing gaming streams once I get my scaler. Oh, awesome, Trina. I, I, I imagine you're much better at gaming than I am. Uh, I suck at it, always have. So, I tend to be a board gamer when I do game, and I've done some stuff, but it's always solo. I don't like team sports. Um, and it's stuff like The Long Dark, where it's endurance gaming, I guess, or Skyrim. or things that don't require stupid fast reaction times, because I grew up playing with cardboard, and so all my reactions are based on ancient technology and not modern stuff. Just gonna stream solitaire. As long as there's mem test with the solitaire, we're good. Anyway. Live long and prosper. I'll see you guys later. Go watch Big Bad Biologist stream in like 12 minutes, okay? Get some vintage Mac stuff under your belt. Have a good day. Bye. Where's the outro? I forgot where the outro... I haven't live streamed in so long, I don't know where things are. Alright, see you guys later.